This video is based on a forceful article by a Chinese political commentator, Shen Peng, who is trusted and followed by millions of people on the internet. On February 25th, Aaron Bushnell, a 25-year-old member of the U.S. Air Force, burned himself to death in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. He walked alone to the embassy gates, donned his military cap, and lit himself on fire. "I am an active duty member of the United States Air Force, and I will no longer be complicit in genocide. I am about to engage in an extreme act of protest, but compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their colonizers, it's not extreme at all. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. Free Palestine." Aaron Bushnell's name has now risen to the top search trend in the U.S. Many Americans are spontaneously mourning him in front of the Israeli embassy. Born in 1999, Aaron Bushnell was a cyber defense operations specialist in the Air Force with access to various military intelligence, a position that usually requires strict political screening, including a patriotic family background. Considering his Massachusetts upbringing and Texas workplace, coupled with his typical wholesome white farm boy look, he was the typical good boy from Middle America. A frequent attendee of socialist organizations and volunteer work, Bushnell enjoyed helping people. "Aaron is the kindest, gentlest, silliest kid in the Air Force," said Erico, who has known Bushnell since 2022. "He's always trying to think about how we can actually achieve liberation for all with a smile on his face." Xylem, who had worked with Bushnell to support San Antonio's unhoused residents, said, "He is one of the most principled comrades I ever known." Note the word comrade. You read that right, Aaron Bushnell was a leftist comrade. Marxism-Leninism has spread quite extensively among American youth and the military in recent years, with news last year of young leftist American soldiers fighting Nazism in Ukraine. On February 26th, the day after Aaron's death, the Revolutionary Communists of America, RCA, announced its formation in New York, chanting slogans like, "Communists are revolutionaries," and "The only solution is communist revolution on the streets." And these are young people, not the old CPUSA folks. Before his self-immolation, Aaron Bushnell had already given away his cat and personal belongings, sending his last words to friends. His final X read, "Many of us like to ask ourselves, what would I do if I was alive during slavery, or the Jim Crow South, or apartheid? What would I do if my country was committing genocide? The answer is, you're doing it, right now." Friends revealed that Aaron had considered alternative approaches, but as a U.S. airman and unwavering patriot, he was thrust into deep anguish upon witnessing the brutal genocide of Palestinians committed by America and Israel. Like so many young awakened U.S. soldiers who initially thought they were defending peace and serving their homeland, he faced the harsh reality that he was only complicit in tyranny and imperialism's executioner. But he was left with no choice. Who wouldn't feel utter despair in the face of the international community and mainstream media? If he had exposed the truth through writing, he would risk being arrested and silenced. If he had taken up arms in rebellion, he would have been branded a traitor and a lunatic. Thus, there he stood in front of the Israeli embassy, letting blazing fire, and his final words stand as a testament to his resolution. This is a kind, upright, gentle young man. He was a socialist, but also a true patriot. But regrettably, America and Jewish media are busily smearing and vilifying him as mentally ill, far left, and a terrorist. Israel and Jewish Zionists even call Aaron an enemy, despite Aaron being a Hebrew name, the name of a Jewish prophet in the Old Testament. In truth, America's founding myth is similar to Israel's, both seeking their promised land and manufacturing legitimacy for it. Now their Aaron is dead, and they hardly cherish him. In contrast, Middle Eastern groups resisting U.S. and Israeli oppression have expressed mourning and respect for Aaron. The empire's outstanding soldier died, yet the greatest honor and goodwill came from the empire's enemies. America is simply unworthy of such young people. As these good kids and patriots die in despair, what is left of America? Is self-immolation outside the Israeli embassy in the United States extreme? Yes, it is. But is it more extreme than the indiscriminate massacre of Palestinian women and children by Israel? Or the iron fist of the ruling class in the United States, who sends arms and ammunition to the executioners? A young American airman who had seen the filth, darkness, and bloodshed within the United States, and the plundering and killing of the whole world by the collusion of the United States and Israel, lost hope of his own motherland, and was even more furious with Israel. He had no other choice but to set himself on fire. While Bushnell was engulfed in flames in front of the Israeli embassy, His last words, "Free Palestine," could still be heard. And it was a black man who came to his rescue, anxiously shouting, "Where's the first aid kit?" while a white man pointed a gun at Bushnell. If this dystopian scene had occurred in any other country, say Russia, Iran, Serbia, or North Korea, can you imagine the uproar it would have provoked? But in America, he died a silent, cold death.